Holy moly, fellas. We might just have the most important video that we've dropped in a long time right now, man. It's a monumental moment, bro. In fact, so monumental, I gotta take this rip. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Over the last few days, the LATimes has published 2 absolute banging articles that are pretty much exposing a lot of the dirty stuff that's going on in the cannabis industry, especially here in California. The first one is called The Dirty Secret of California's Legal Weed. And there's even a little graphic of like a skull made of nugs and some carts. It's pretty creative, I can't lie. This article says that a joint investigation was conducted by both the Times and Weed Week, which is like a news publication for weed. They went to a few regulated retail stores around California and purchased 42 products and tested them at independent labs and found that 25 of them had an insane amount of pesticides, yet they were still being sold on the shelves. And not just brands that are like the really cheap ones or kind of, under the counter. Maybe you don't want to buy this one. Maybe they're just really not doing. No, these are 5 of the largest cannabis companies in the, actually one is the biggest. I'm pretty sure Stizzy is top 3 in at least reported revenue of any cannabis company in the country. And they still got popped for pesticide nasty shit. So let's go into these articles, man. The article starts by saying that they tested both vapes and pre-rolled flowers, which I didn't expect. I thought it was only gonna be vapes that had these pesticides, but the fact that the flower does too, that's a huge problem. And they also give us some estimates, and they're saying that if these top 5 brands are producing this many units of products and these are contaminated, then they're estimating about 250,000 products on shelves right now in California have these pesticides in them, that they are contaminated. They're actively on the shelves right now, the same batches that they tested, and you can buy them. The real problem is the scale, right? This article says that there's about 5 million people that consume cannabis every single month in California. That's probably a little bit of a generous estimate, but if most of them are buying stuff on the shelves, and most of them statistically are buying these top 5 brands, so that's a lot of people that are contaminated. Right before the article gets into the pesticide list, there's a couple paragraphs that are very, very indicative of the problem that's going on right now in California. And it's that the main governing body for these things, the thing that should make it safe for the consumers, the California Department of Cannabis Control, is being kind of hush-hush about it. They're not giving out any tests that they have. They're not letting people know the punishments that they've given out for the complaints that they've given. Like, people have come to them and been like, yo, this brand is dirty. Yo, these products are dirty. What are you gonna do about it? And they're like, we're not gonna say. They also declined any interview with the LATimes, any single person from the organization. So it's a little crazy that the public governing body, the people that should make you feel safe, the people that, the products are, it's in their hands, right? They are responsible for making sure that you have safe medicine. And they kind of don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck is going on. So yes, you can blame the companies that we're gonna talk to later, 100%, they're at fault. Yes, you can talk shit about the people that push the products or the retail side, but at the end of the day, none of that is gonna stop until the governing body really sets the hammer down on these companies. Like, why wouldn't they keep selling pesticides and fake shit if they're gonna keep making money from it? If they're even making more money from it, they can stretch their profits and they can keep evading this little pussy ass governing body, which I hate the government, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I'm not the one advocating for big government at all, but there's certain safety things, that the government has to do. They gotta keep us safe, especially if I'm paying fucking taxes and doing all this. I expect some things in return. And if cannabis is gonna be legal and I'm gonna be paying 30% taxes on all of my products, then it should be safe to consume, right? Because if not, I'm just gonna buy it from the black market that has the same amount of safety and the same amount of bullshit. If you're not governing it at all, then why would I pay the 30% tax? It makes no sense as a consumer. So yes, it's fuck these companies that are selling poison that we're gonna talk about later, but it's also fuck the government for not doing its damn job. But what's new, right? All right, let's get into these pesticides because I'm not gonna be able to pronounce half of them. There's an 8-page list of the pesticides, and they also tell you about what is the maximum amount that is allowed, which some of these products go many, many times over the maximum amount. And it also tells you a little bit about the pesticide and some potential side effects, which range from some normal stuff, such as irritated eyes, headache, dizziness, nausea, vomiting. Those can be associated with maybe even greening out. Maybe you just smoke the cart too much and you think it's the cannabis greening you out. but it might just be the fucking pesticides. This pesticide was studied in rats and it showed that it fused their bones together. Here's an insecticide that was banned from agricultural use a few years ago and is completely not permitted in any level of cannabis, yet they are finding it in trace amounts in some of these carts and some of these pre-rolls, man. And this specific one actually is linked to Parkinson's disease. But perhaps the most interesting thing out of these 8 pages is that there's a certain text that stands out, and it's in bold and it's in orange, and it states that it's not screened for in California cannabis. And that is a main problem here. You're probably asking yourself this whole time, Eric, how are pesticide carts even getting into dispensaries? Aren't they all tested for before they leave the facilities? You would be correct, but there's 2 main ways that this is still happening. Number 1 is that when California became legalized in 2016 or 17, they produced a list of banned pesticides that you could not use when you grew cannabis, which makes sense. The problem is that list has not been changed since 2017. So that is 64 pesticides that are probably outdated. There's almost 100% chance that China or another place has outsourced these same exact pesticides, the same exact chemically identical pesticides that are fucking you up just the same, but maybe it's changed just a little bit so it's not detected on this test. And then all of a sudden, you have that same benefit of that pesticide, and you can sell it and stretch your profit, and you pass the pesticide test because it's outdated. The second way these pesticides are passing through and going to dispensaries, and arguably the scarier part because this is a thing in every single legal state, not just California. Maybe not Florida, there's a couple states that are like really cracking down on the testing, but because cannabis isn't federally legal, or in some states it's like weirdly legal, there is a lack of funding, specifically for testing and things like that. So a lot of these testing labs aren't owned or funded by the government, right? They have no jurisdiction from an actual like Fed right above them. They're privately owned, most of them are for profit. So they have an incentive, perhaps with some brands, to publish a good test for them. Maybe a brand comes in, they say, hey, we'll give this, we'll hook you up with so-and-so, just give us a clean test. They get the clean test, the testing facility gets their money, or however else the arrangement that they got, and then boom, both brands are happy, both brands make a little bit more money. So that is the second problem, and that is a little bit more widespread than just California. These articles will be linked in the description, by the way, if you want to look at this full list of pesticides. It's kind of just scary to read through, so we'll just go on to the brands. This is like the real meat and potatoes of the video, right? You want to know, Eric, am I smoking on some fucking bunk shit? First of all, I will say this. If you're buying carts from the plug, like you're buying it from Johnny down the street, these are the least of your worries. Like, these list of pesticides are the least of your worries, bro. You're smoking on straight rat poison, like you're smoking on shit way worse than this, right? So if you're smoking on that fake stizzy, if you're smoking on that fake turn pod, if you're smoking on that fake fucking, what is it, like the flavors carts, or there's some weird carts out there, man. Like, these pesticides, just don't even worry about them, all right? You're fucked. But that's the main problem, because you should be safe from that buying from a dispensary, right? You shouldn't have to worry about any of that bullshit or anything that could affect your health if you're buying something from a licensed, regulated dispensary. But the fact that these brands are still popping dirty is a problem. Now, I will say, before I get into any of these brands, hey, listen, man, I'm a fucking American at the end of the day. I think companies have, I think people have due process. You know, I think you're innocent until proven guilty. I think until more tests are run from independent people, which Catalyst CEO is doing. So follow Catalyst_CEO on Instagram if you want to see what he's popping out. He said this the other day.
All right, here he is. It's not really random. It's all our best sellers and anybody that was in that article. We will let the test speak for itself, but you got my word.
Which I think is very responsible. I think as an industry leader, I think you should have your face out more often. There's not really many brand owners or dispensary owners that are putting themselves out there, and he's one of them. And I've always advocated and said he's a dope ass guy. I don't think I've ever met him. I've met him in passing, maybe shaking his hand a couple times, but like, that's a good guy. Seems like he has the, you know, those are his products on the shelf, right? Like, he has a lot to lose doing these independent tests, and the fact that he's still gonna do it, like, that shows the signs of a good man right there. So let's get into this list, bro, because we have a freaking we got 26 pages of stuff right here. Right off the rip though, Alien Labs with their OZ Kush, passing, beautiful. And then we get immediately into the red, bro. BackBackBoyz with 25, count them, 25 different pesticides in their lemon cherry gelatos. Damn, this one has 26 actually, which is crazy. I didn't even know that was possible, bro. Like, what do you even need that many pesticides for? And it's not just the LCG, bro. There is 1, 2, 3 pages. Oh my God, there's 4 pages of pure BackBackBoyz pesticides fails, which is pretty insane, man. I'm not gonna lie.
In regards to what they're saying about these vapes, come on, bro. Like, they do all the testing, they in the store. I mean, it's apparent as fuck that the motherfucker testing a fake vape. I mean, so that's why you're getting some of the fucking results that you're getting, of course. If you really think that motherfuckers are sending some shit like that into the stores, into these places, like, come on, you got me fucked up. They do numerous tests before it even goes into the fucking stores. So come on, bro, like, 1 + 1 = 2 every time. Don't be a fucking fool and believe this bullshit. Simple as that. Right or wrong?
Right. Circles, I've actually never seen that before, but it looks like they failed a couple pesticides as well. We got Cloud failing the pesticides. Connected, just like Alien Labs, are partnered up, so I would expect them to have clean cannabis as well, and it looks like their biscotti is looking good. Crew does have a little bit of pesticides in it, man. I have seen Crew on the market, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Cruisers is dirty. Delighted, I've never seen on the shelves before, but they got some clean cannabis right there. Dime, that is a classic fake cart brand right there, and it looks like they have also failed the pesticide test, which is unfortunate, man. Every Day has failed pesticide test. Flav OG from Flav has failed the pesticide test. But here's where it gets a little interesting that I have not seen any other person talk about yet. So Flavorade is next up on the list, and as far as I know, they're kind of a partnership-based extraction company, so they don't grow any of their own flower. Rather, they source a lot of it, and then they make the carts out of that flower. So a lot of brands will hit them up, they'll hit brands up, they'll do a little collab, you know what I mean? So that's why you see a Flavorade cart, and there's another brand on there, because that's that brand's flower, and that's what the cart's made from. When you see this list at surface level right here, they have 4 passes and 2 fails, and the 2 fails are from Blueprint. Now, if you guys don't know, Blueprint is one of the most reputable, if not one of the most poppin', like, best brands in California right now. So that would, you're like, wait a minute, like, is it the flower that's tainted? Like, what's going on there? But then you scroll a page, and then you have 2 examples from the Blueprint and Flavorade collab that passed the pesticide tests. So somewhere along the line, there's like, it's like, that makes it muddy, you know what I mean? Like, who knows what brand or what pack is pesticided up? Like, that makes it tough. That muddies the waters a little bit, I feel like. And then you scroll and they have other things that fail pesticide tests. So is it the lab that's dirty? Is it a certain, like, brand that's flowers? Is it, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can't even pinpoint the problem, isn't that even, like, a bigger fucking issue? Like, holy shit, where are these pesticides even coming from? I don't think it's from the flower. I don't think it'd be from Blueprint, because 1, the rep they have for being really good flower, but 2, it would all be dirty, right? If Blueprint was the culprit here, then every single Blueprint and Flavorade collab would be dirty, but it's only some of them. So there's gotta be, is it the testing that's faulty? Like, is there something, like, what the fuck? This is crazy, bro. This is why this shit needs to be federally legal at the end of the day. You know what I mean? This is exactly why we need, I would never say more government intervention, but we're not fucking doing a good job, right? I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm all for free market shit, but it looks like the free market in cannabis got a little bit scammy. Man, we definitely need a little bit more testing. We need more funding. We need a little bit more rules and regulations. Maybe we even need more fines for people, which I never thought I would say, but, like, there needs to be a way to clean this shit up, man. Grizzly Peak Farms failed. Heavy Hitters and Jeter is just 2 fucking surprising ones to me. If you were to tell me, hey, here's a list of all the brands on this list, which one do you think has pesticides? I'm not gonna lie. Bro, all I'm gonna say is, next time you see a Jeter's pre-roll, just cut it open. Just cut it open. Just observe what you're smoking. That's all I'm gonna say. You can make your own observations. I'm not gonna say it's good or bad. But the fact that they're chilling and they don't have pesticides in their liquid diamonds, hey, I'm down for that. Heavy Hitters, clean card apparently. That's an OG fucking fake cart right there, is Heavy Hitters. Speaking of OG fake carts, Kingpen failed the pesticide test. We got Cola's Cares. Never seen those before. Failing pesticide test. 4 or 5 times overs, man. Very bad. Both their flower and their carts failed. That is a shame. Lolo passed. Maven, I'm surprised, failed, man. Maven's up there with some of the better flower. And they actually tested their flower, it looks like, so that's crazy. Maven, don't worry, you know, you're welcome to defend yourself. You know, that's the craziest thing, is that, like, an article comes out like this and it's like, holy shit. Like, what if it was, you know, like, what if you didn't even use pesticides? What if you can prove it? Then like, who is it on? You know what I mean? Also, I'm very interested. Here's like the tinfoil hat in me. You know this was coming. A little conspiracy theory or two. Are there any brands that funded this article? Are there any brands that paid these two article writers to maybe not be on the list? Did these article writers hit up brands and give a certain brands an opportunity to defend themselves and not others? Like, I feel like there's a whole lot of just speculation that comes with press like this. You know what I mean? There's questions that need to be asked. Is there an ulterior motive from someone who wrote this article? As far as I know, I think it states in here that the whole thing and the whole investigation started because someone had to go to the hospital or get medical attention due to consuming one of these carts, or what they thought was one of the carts. So, I mean, I guess that's how it started. But hey, there's questions that you gotta ask when things like this come out. You know what I mean? You gotta follow the money trail a little bit. But that's the conspiracy theorist in me talking. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're gonna keep going. Ocean Cannabis had a little yellow indicator, meaning that it had enough pesticides in it to be detectable, but not enough to fail any tests. But hey, they are still present in there. Papa's Herb is a surprising one. That hurts me. That's one of the better brands out in California for sure. Looks like they failed. Fat Panda failed many, many times. They did state in the article that a brand passed, they would just move on to the next product. And if a brand failed, they would keep on testing it. But there's a couple failures on here that just went once, you know, which is interesting. So like Fat Panda failed, and it looks like they tried multiple of those. But Papa's Herb only failed once, and they only tried one. Holy shit, Fat Panda failed a lot of them, man. That is unfortunate. Look at all that. That is a lot of pesticides, man. Fire, looks like they have a lot of products that failed as well. We got Raw Garden with the pass, and we got Seed Junkie with 1 pass and 1 questionable levels of pesticides. Smart Weed looks like has questionable levels. Here's the big one. Here's the big one that people are talking about, man. Stizzy and their pink acai had 2 pesticide fails, but not only that, this one has 60 times the legal limit of this pesticide in 1 vape. 1. And the fact that it's even allowed is crazy because Canada and the UK and Norway have all banned this pesticide altogether. Like, you can't even do it. The US is like, you can use it, but just a little bit. Stizzy is like, bro, whatever. But the real problem is the cannabis market doesn't test for this specific pesticide. It's only the tobacco market. So this is technically allowed in cannabis regulation, right? So all the Stizzy tests are technically clean. Like, they all pass California regulation. They're allowed to be in stores. So it's not technically their fault that the government is allowing it. You know what I mean? Like, sure, they could clean it up, but you know, if you're just producing products and you're sending it to labs and it comes back clean and you're like, okay, it's good. It's not exactly your fault. It becomes your fault when you're knowingly putting gross and nasty pesticides in there. But if it's pesticides that are okay according to the regulators, then like, why wouldn't it be okay to sell? You know, like, it's kind of like a twisted, like in a circle kind of logic. Like, it's gonna keep going. Like, there's gotta be someone that's gonna put a stop to it, and it's not gonna be the consumers or the producers, right? It's gotta be the government that puts their foot down and like, yo, you can't sell this shit anymore. Superb passed their melted diamond carts. I need to hit those again, bro. Those are crazy. Up failed, and here we go with the other big name here, man. WestCoastCure has 6 pages, 30 plus products of failed pesticide tests, man, which is absolutely crazy. Jay Cures, one of the spokesperson, like, I don't think he's the CEO, he's one of the owners though, he's one of the OGs of the company, definitely one of the founders, had this to say about it.
So I wanted to address the article that came out on Friday from the LATimes, but when I went to address it, conveniently, my account was taken down. I'm pretty sure we're being attacked, probably by the same people who are putting out the articles, who knows, but if they expect me to believe their reports when we've asked simple questions that they didn't respond to, like, where's the chain of custody? Like, and they can't give us one, which we have for all of our products. And I want you guys to know, at WestCoastCure, we stand behind all of our products and all of the people we work with. We would never do such a thing. Anyone that knows me know how much I care about the plant, how much I care about people, how generous I am. And yeah, I would just...
They wouldn't even show us the COAs. A murder defendant gets to see the evidence against them. Hatchet job, fake news.
Yeah, Dad. Like, bottom line is, everyone, all of our products on shelves are clean and have passing results from state licensed labs.
So just like I said earlier with Catalyst CEO being that guy, we're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to make an update on this video. Maybe we'll even do like a collab video or something, or just something. Just information's the most important thing right now, man. Like, just make sure you're smoking on good shit right now. You only get one pair of lungs, and I mean, it doesn't even only affect your lungs. Like, it sounds like smoking these pesticides will affect a lot of things. Some of it's killing your sperm count. I mean, some of it fuses your rat bones together. I don't even know, man. Some craziness going on. That bong rip is really smacking the hell out of me. I hope I broke down the article well enough for you. Make sure to keep an eye on Catalyst CEO. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it for sure to see those independent tests. I'm going to be keeping an eye on all of these companies that were on this list to see if they're making any type of statement, because this thing has been making rounds, you know what I mean? Millions and millions of people have seen this article at this point. And it's making rounds, especially outside of California. People who are getting products from California who thought they were clean, thought they were safe. Now the whole market's shooken up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute, this is a little bit crazy. So we're gonna have to see what's popping, man. We're gonna see what's popping. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. Make sure you're smoking on clean stuff. And I don't know. At the end of the day, I would say stay away from carts, but the fact that the flour is contaminated too is a little bit of a shame. I don't know. It might be fear-mongering though, like how much pesticides are in my food. You know, you buy a salad from fucking, you get the lettuce at Chipotle, like how much pesticides are in that? How many pesticides are in, or not pesticides, how many like growth hormones are injected into these fucking cows and the steak that I'm eating? You know, like, I'm gonna die anyway, right? Nah, I'm just kidding. That's like a bad way to think about it. But at the same time, it's like, how, you know, it sounds pretty serious. It sounds pretty serious. So I don't know. I'm just yapping now. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow for the next video. Make sure you stay safe, stay clean, and stay high. Peace.